Watching News at Prime, let's pick up on this conversation now. Transport Minister Barbara Creecy has attributed the significant drop in Easter road deaths to heightened law enforcement visibility, among other measures. The death toll has dropped from 307 last year to 161 this year. This is the lowest figure in 3 years. Let's speak now to the Minister who joins us via the virtual platform. Minister Creecy, good evening to you and thank you for your time. How big an impact is visible law enforcement in what we are seeing this time around?
Good evening, Xoli, and greetings to your viewers. Yes, I think that coordinated efforts by national, provincial and municipal officers have definitely increased police visibility on the roads. And as a result of that, we've seen a decrease in the number of accidents that have happened overall, a 31% decrease. And on the Easter weekend itself, we have seen a 45.6% decrease in fatalities. Of course, what we understand is over 80% of accidents occur because of what we call human factors. And human factors include excessive speeding, driving while under the influence of alcohol, texting and driving, disobeying the rules of the road, and of course fatigue, which plays a major factor in long-distance travel. So I think that the visibility of police officers on our national and provincial roads acts as what we call a traffic calming measure and definitely has assisted us in the Easter weekend.
Yeah. Talking about partnerships, which is another element that you've mentioned of these three key factors that perhaps have helped to reduce these statistics, Minister. You still have instances of that particular driver. I think they were found somewhere in the Eastern Cape so over the limit that I think the description of them was that I don't think they could even stand properly. That must be disappointing despite all of the positive messaging reinforcing that people should take care on the roads.
941 drivers were found to be driving under the influence of alcohol, and they were arrested. And that's really quite a frightening statistic, because had they escaped arrest, each of them could have caused a fatal accident. And I really don't understand why people drive when they're under the influence. There are various public transport mechanisms that are available throughout the night. And of course, if people go out with friends, they can always designate somebody to drive who won't be drinking. But it's a very, very serious factor. And I think that it's something that we really have to stop on our roads.
Well, it's clear, Minister, it's not going to stop simply by trusting that people are going to do the right thing. It means that something has to change in the laws that is going to be so punishing that people are going to fear even taking a pint of beer before they drive.
Well, and I think that knowing that you're going to get caught is really the issue. And that's why consistent visible policing is terribly important, because you can have the harshest sentences in the world, but if you know that you will never be caught, it doesn't act as a deterrent. So this is why we are insisting that all of the different police forces work together. We know the hotspots. We know where the pub crawling takes place. And what we've got to make sure is that our officers are on those routes and they're pulling over drivers who have been imbibing and who are a danger to themselves and to fellow road users.
Yeah. The taxi industry, how helpful would you say they have been in that positive message reinforcement and behavior on the roads?
Well, Of course, we know that there will be drivers who would have had bad experiences. But I must say, we have been working with the industry. We've done a lot of education on the ranks. The industry themselves have had various programs to enhance roadworthiness of vehicles. I think roadworthiness of public transport vehicles is another area that requires a lot of attention. We took over 2,000 vehicles off the roads during the Easter weekend because they were not roadworthy. Not all of them were public transport vehicles. But I myself did see public transport vehicles that had smooth tires and also public transport vehicles with cracked windscreens. And I think that we've got to do a lot more work on the ranks to explain to drivers why these issues pose a challenge and why they are life-threatening to the drivers and to their passengers.
Yeah. A final thought, Minister, although slightly removed from the Easter road statistics, talking about the taxi industry, some taxpayers are questioning still why it is that the government continues to give the taxi industry monies that we are told, are due to them from the COVID period. What justification do you have for that tonight?
My understanding, Holly, because I found that program there when I joined the department a year ago, is that over a 5-year period, government has been trying to pay off allocations that were made to all registered operators who had applied for the COVID Relief of Distress grant. Because of budget constraints, not everybody had received their grants. So I suppose it does look a bit strange in 2025 that this should be going on. But my understanding is that these were bona fide recipients who were not able to be paid out in previous years because of financial and fiscal constraints, but were still on the list and were due to receive those payments.
Would this have been the final payout?
That is a matter I will need to ask the Minister of Finance, but I think that we are trying to close out that process. That is my understanding.
Minister, thank you very much for your time. Transport Minister Barbara Creecy talking to us tonight.